We are, guys, Northeast Georgia Motorsports here in Houston or Braselton, Georgia, however you may preside. And we're gonna hop on the Ninja 636. Let's swing a leg over this bad boy. So we're gonna let this guy get out of the way, and we're gonna take a ride on this 2018 KRT Kawasaki Racing Team 636. I totally wish I could play this thing off as being my bike, but I can't. And one of the big things to me is, you know, I owned an R6 for quite some time. You guys know I have both the Honda Grom and Z125 in my possession. And the only thing that I have to say that I didn't like about the R6 was the fact it was so uncomfortable. Now, by no means are these bikes built to be comfortable. They're built to go fast. And that's what these bikes do. They fly, they rail. But when I hop on this bike, my big issue is putting a lot of weight on the handlebars. A lot of newer riders tend to do that because their arms are locked and they're hunched over and they're just, you know, putting a lot of weight on the handlebars. How I counteract that and how you're supposed to is hold the tank with your knees. This bike, it's been the same for forever now. They haven't really redesigned it like the Yamaha R6 or anything like that. CBR has been the same for quite a while. But this bike, it was so far ahead of its time, there's no reason to change it. You know, everything's great. You know, you've got your traction modes, you've got your power modes, you've even got a gear indicator with this bike. Nice big old speedometer. You might be thinking about this bike, maybe you're coming off of a Ninja 400, or you could be coming off of a Suzuki SV650 and you want something more sporty. You could be like me and be riding a Z125 or Honda Grom and just want something with more power. Would this be a good bike? Would this be a good beginner bike? Well, you make it. It's a relationship. You make it how you want. You control how fast you go. You control how slow you go. You know, it's all about self-control. The seat height, you know, I've got short legs. Again, I'm 5'8", and when I throw my leg over this bike, I can easily flat-foot it with one leg. That's no problem. I can put about half of my foot down, or feet, half of my foot down on each side if I decide to stick both feet down. So if you're short like me, the R6, I just happen to ride a bike that had the highest seat height out of all the 600s, which was just great on my behalf. But you know, it works. When I hop on this bike, it's really not a big issue for me to ride it and to throw a leg over it, and it's very comfortable. You know, it's very easy. It feels very lightweight. That's the best way I can put it. You know, you don't have to struggle to keep it stopped. You know, if you're on an incline, you don't have to put your foot on the brake or anything like that. It's very controllable and very easy to handle underneath you. And some guys might just buy this bike just to have it, just to have a motorcycle. And this would be a great bike. It makes great torque. So your power low end, you don't have to be super high in the RPM range to rev this thing out. And like right now, you know, we're cruising 67 or so, and it's such a nice ride. It's not shaky, it doesn't vibrate you to death. You know, the engine, we're cruising at a cool 5,700 RPMs on a beautiful, what feels like summer day. It's still only spring, but it feels amazing. I was a new rider, I didn't think about this. A lot of things newer riders don't think about is the engine heat that comes off of the bike. I can feel the heat, it's there, but it's not, you know, at cruising speed, it's just dissipating so quickly, you know, it doesn't bother me at all. Speaking of the ergonomics with the legs, with me having short legs, you know, this bike, I'm sitting in it very good. Obviously, you can see I have plenty of room, and it makes great power. Oh man, the power delivery is so smooth. It's not abrupt, it's not hard to control, it's not hard to handle. It's so smooth. And right now I'm taking this corner with one hand, which seems very irresponsible, but the chassis is designed so well. There's not much flex, there's not a lot of instability with this motorcycle. It's just, oh, it's so great. Let's talk about the brakes, because these brakes are awesome. All right, so a little fifth gear pull. That power mid-range it's excellent. It just pulls, and it's so smooth. But the brakes on this thing are really amazing. This is where this bike truly shines. When I first grabbed a hold of these things, I thought I was gonna flip over the front of this bike. They grab so hard. With the power being so smooth, for you newer riders, or for newer riders in general that are coming from a SV650 or a Ninja 400, you know, you learn the throttle control on your smaller bike. When you hop on this bike, it's exactly the same, and you fine tune it with your hand, yes, but if you happen to get out of whack, the power just doesn't rip it out from underneath your legs. It's very manageable and controllable. But then, you know, like I said, if we're talking to the riders that normally do some commuting, maybe some bike nights, I mean, man, this is the bike. It's just so well balanced, it's so comfortable to ride. But, you know, it's got all the simple controls. This is where your power delivery and traction, Kawasaki traction control is. I've got it on 2. It's got 4 modes, 1, 2, 3, and off. I'm just gonna leave it on 2 because that seems the happy medium out of everything. And the power mode, it's full or low. So the low, the best way I can describe it, to me, it would feel like low mode takes it to about, I don't know, I wouldn't say half, but it takes it down to maybe like 500 cc, it feels like. It just handles so well. So well. You really feel one with a bike, you know. I remember I was watching a documentary one time, and it had this gentleman talking about how it's, when you really get in fine-tune with your bike, it almost feels like you're skimming across the ground. That's literally what it feels like with this bike, because it's so simple to ride. Now, during this ride, if there's any questions that you guys have, leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm trying to keep this mindset sort of towards a new first-time buyer, if you will, because I remember when I was watching videos, I was a new buyer. I was interested in purchasing a motorcycle, and I wanted to know what it did or didn't do.